California's Communities is supported by the California Redevelopment Association Foundation, a statewide organization made up of cities, counties, nonprofits, and private businesses sharing a common goal of bringing renewed life to neighborhoods and downtowns by expanding local businesses, creating jobs, building affordable housing, restoring buildings, and improving public facilities and infrastructure. Redevelopment, building better communities throughout California.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell Howser, and here we are on this absolutely spectacular morning in Northern California. We're in Shasta County. Now over there in the distance, boy, it's beautiful this morning too, isn't it? Look over there, those are the Cascade Mountains, and then coming right by us here is the beautiful Sacramento River. And right over there is the city of Redding. Now, Redding has about 100,000 citizens, and it holds the distinction of being the largest city in California north of Sacramento. At first glance this morning, things look pretty quiet over there. It's tranquil and peaceful and green, but there's a lot of excitement in Redding these days. There's a lot going on over there, and that's what we're here to see for ourselves. We're going to be spending the whole day in Redding, which is one of California's communities. Okay, our adventure in Redding begins, and I'm not sure exactly what this is all about. First off, Jim, introduce yourself to everybody.
Huell, my name is Jim Zauer. I'm the Economic Development Director for the City of Redding.
Okay, now we came to Redding in search of this beautiful, vibrant, exciting, spectacular city in Northern California, and you have brought us where?
Huell, this is the brand new Stillwater Business Park that is under construction as we speak.
Now, why would you bring us to a business park? I know that's important, but it's not the most exciting thing for our viewers to experience right off the bat about Redding.
It's a pretty exciting thing for our citizens, however, because this park is going to set the economic base for our area for years to come.
Now, this is a big business park. It's one of the biggest anywhere in California, maybe even in the whole country.
It's very distinctive. All the parcels are large. We have a site up to 100 acres that we can accommodate a company.
And you got 700 acres altogether.
Total of 700 acres, about 16 different lots in ranges up to 90 acres.
And why is this business park important?
What we've done here is we've taken the time and put the investment into this project so that all the permits are in place. And in today's environment, companies are really risk averse. They don't want to wait around to get all the environmental permits. So we've got that accomplished, and so all they need is a building permit and they can get going.
So the city of Redding is running this business park.
City of Redding is a developer and the owner, and it's local funds, including redevelopment funds, that have helped build this park.
But there's more to coming to Redding than just the business site, and that's what we're here to see. What is that all about?
Well, as you and I have discussed, companies look for a location, but they also look for a vibrant community where they can be assured there's going to be a labor force into the future. So communities need to be prepared not only with the ready-to-go sites, but with amenities that are in the community that are going to be attractive to families.
Things that make a community a good place to work and live. Quality of life issues, right?
Yes, quality of life is important. You need to have the site, but you also have to have a good place to live in for families to want to be.
So you see, this does make sense, doesn't it? You knew what you were doing.
It's a logical transition.
You brought us to this beautiful business park under construction, 700 acres, one of the largest city-owned business parks anywhere in the entire country, but we're leaving here to see the kind of community, the kind of things that businesses can expect for their employees, for their labor force when they move into Redding, right?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay, we're leaving the business park and starting to look around Redding itself and see what the city's all about. Okay, now we're talking. We have left the new business park, which is being constructed out by the airport about 5 miles from here, and now Jim has brought us right into downtown Redding. We're standing here in front of this, I don't think I've ever seen a city hall anywhere in California that is as beautiful. You got the fountains, you got the roses. This is absolutely spectacular.
Well, Huel, this is part of a civic center campus that is being developed. And as you can see, we've got the library on one side. The new police department building is going to be built as part of this complex, and it's a complete civic center.
So it was thought of when it was constructed as a campus, not as just a bunch of buildings.
That's absolutely correct.
Well, as nice as this campus is, we are not here to visit the elected officials in City Hall. And we are not here to check out a book from the library, and we are not here to visit the police department. We are here to see something else on this campus that is very unique and one of the more positive aspects of life in Redding. And here we are. The geese have landed in Redding. Actually, a goose and 2 mallards have landed here in Redding. We're still on the campus here around the Redding City Hall. I'm standing here with Chris Glover, who's with the Community Services Department of the City of Redding. And Chris, what is all this doing out here on the campus in front of City Hall?
Well, we are standing in the Sculpture Park at City Hall. This is a 2.5-acre park that was completed in 2006 to complete the landscaping of the Civic Center campus, which was built earlier this decade.
And you've got all of this beautiful sculpture. Come on over here, Cameron, and take a look at this. I've never been this close to a mallard this size before. What's the deal on this thing?
Well, each of these weighs 2,000 pounds, and there's basically a steel frame in there, and this netting holds in topsoil.
So it's a living sculpture.
Absolutely. You can see the irrigation lines on the top, so
Wow.
it gets watered
These
as much
are
as needed.
absolutely, I guess they do have geese and mallards up here in Redding, don't
We definitely do.
You got a big piece of wood going over here. You've got, well, look over here. Look at this park. This is absolutely spectacular here, and the whole thing is filled with sculpture. Now, why sculpture? What brought that all about? This is, let's stand over here by this one. This one is very artsy right here. What is this all about?
Well, this is called The Gather, and this is a temporary exhibit by David Mudgett, who's a Bay Area artist. And he was a pipe fitter, and this was something that he was a way to hone his skills with metal.
Well, art is in the eye of the beholder,
Absolutely.
isn't it? So people wander around here and look at all of this, and boy, look at this one right down here. This is pretty spectacular right here. What's the story behind this? I've never seen anything like this before.
Now, this is all part of our art in public places, and so every piece of the 22 pieces in the sculpture park here are from various artists, and this one's put together in about a day and a half, actually. So the three emphases for the sculpture park was to complete the landscaping for the Civic Center, as well as to provide a public venue, and just to expand the art in public places.
Kind of a sense of place.
Exactly.
Because when we were at the business park that's being developed this morning, Jim was telling us that part of, developing business in a community is developing a sense of place, and of course the arts
Absolutely.
are very important to what draws people to live in a particular town.
We have a very successful art in public places program, and actually the City Hall building itself is a art gallery. All 3 floors have art, and 3 times a year they are switched out with mostly local artists.
Oh, look! The real thing! We're sticking with the arts. We have left the beautiful sculpture garden at City Hall. We're still downtown, and we're standing out front of this beautiful theater. It's called the Cascade Theater. I've never seen one quite like this. It's unique, isn't it? It's got a great history to it.
This is an Art Deco theater that was restored by the community, and it has a great history. built in the early 30s. It was an unusual building for a community that only had 6,000 residents at the time.
So when they built this in the 30s, this was a big deal.
Oh, it was a huge deal. I mean, it was in the middle of the Depression, but with about $100,000, they were able to build something that brought people throughout the community here, well, every night, every other night maybe, to see the movies.
And thanks to redevelopment money raised by Jefferson Public Radio, lots of small donations, it's been restored. This is obviously has a place of affection with the people of Reading.
Huge.
We're inside the Cascade Theater, and I am rarely at a loss for words. But this is as pretty a theater, old historic theater, as I have seen anywhere in California.
Well, thanks, or thank the people in 1935 that built it.
Wow.
You won't find many
beautiful.
theaters that have a mural on the ceiling like this one does, Huell.
It's an absolutely amazing ceiling, and usually the theaters are not Art Deco like this. They're further back in the teens and the 20s. This is full-on Art Deco.
Well, this was built as a movie palace and vaudeville theater. Little vaudeville was actually performed here, but we have now converted it into a performing arts center with all kinds of activities.
Like what? What goes on here?
We have the North State Symphony Orchestra, the only symphony north of San Francisco.
Performs
in California.
here.
Yes.
Right now, the stage is set for a musical theater company, a ballet company.
A local company.
Yes, they're actually right across the street, and they just bring the sets over here. And...
So it's well used.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Do you still have movies in here?
Yes, we have the ability to show 35 millimeter or DVD, and we have film festivals going on.
So it's an all-purpose theater.
Absolutely, and lots of live music acts all the time.
Now, is this an example of one of those theaters that if we had come in here a few years ago, it would have been covered with, what do you call it? Gunk?
Well, the walls and the ceilings were covered in 1977. They covered the ceiling up with paint. I mean, there were 2 coats of paint that we had to take off.
All this
yeah.
beautiful Art Deco work.
They covered this beautiful art up, yes. And we uncovered it. Wow. And brought it back.
The theater was converted into a fourplex, two upstairs and 2 downstairs, and everything, the theater chandeliers, were all ripped out of here. So all of this is restoration work and recreation work.
So if we had come here in the 70s, we wouldn't even recognize it as it is today. Nothing like this at all.
You absolutely wouldn't. But people who were here in the 30s and 40s, they remember it.
Yeah.
It's just like they remembered it.
Well, it was built with good bones, and it is bigger and better and finer than it was even when it was built in the 30s. Thanks to the good people of Reading who wanted to bring this back.
Right.
That's correct.
It's back. The old Cascade Theater is better than ever right here in downtown Reading. It's all part of the arts scene in this community. We have left the beautiful old historic Art Deco Cascade Theater in downtown Reading, and I got to tell you, I hope I don't sound like I'm overly gushing about this, but that's one of the prettiest theaters I've seen anywhere in the state.
Well, Jim and I, we grew up in that theater. Every Saturday morning, our parents would take us down there, and we watch Disney movies and everything. It's a beautiful, beautiful asset to the city of Reading.
The community's got to be proud of this.
Very proud of it. Quite a restoration. The whole community got behind it.
Well, we're not here to talk about the Cascade Theater. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Gary Lewis. I'm the president of Shasta College.
Shasta College, because part of the quality of life in any community is education, especially higher education, and we are right here in downtown Reading in front of one of the jewels in your crown.
Well, since 1950, Shasta College has been the primary source of higher education in the North State. And just 2 years ago, we dedicated our new facility in downtown Reading as part of the redevelopment project. It houses our health sciences and university center. We have 4 nursing programs housed here, dental hygiene program, and we partner with CSU Chico and some other 4-year institutions to bring baccalaureate degree programs to Reading.
So this is all about training people here in the Reading area for jobs, for real jobs in the health industry.
No question about it. All of our graduates of these programs are immediately placed in good paying jobs in the community. We offer transfer programs, and we are really stepping up to the plate in terms of workforce training and economic development in this community.
Let's walk over here because this is very interesting, Jim. This is the building where we just interviewed the president of Shasta College. And what is all this area right here? Where are we right now?
Well, Huel, we're at the north end of what used to be the downtown mall. And that downtown mall is going through a tremendous redevelopment process right now as we speak.
It's second redevelopment.
Yes, there's a
because
story.
what happened first?
Well, this was a very unique project in the 1960s when malls were popping up all over the United States, and the downtown area decided to get together and create a mall by covering all of the old buildings with a roof and saving a number of the old buildings.
But all of this, so if we'd been here in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, this was all covered.
Actually,
there was a roof up on top of these poles right here.
Correct. Actually, where the College University Center is and the Health Science Center was Payless Drugstore, one of the anchors to the mall.
Wow, and now look what's going on. And this is the second redevelopment project on the same mall. You're now taking the roof off.
Exactly. So the idea now is to open it back up, create a homey environment, very close proximity for the businesses and a walking pedestrian environment. And that's the process you see unfolding right now.
Wow, how many cities can say they redeveloped a covered mall and then redeveloped it to an open mall?
And of course, on the other side of this is the Cascade Theater, where we were just a little bit ago. So you've got the Cascade Theater on one end, the Health Science Center on the other end, and everything in between is being rejuvenated.
I hope you're saving these beautiful towers with this glass.
I believe
that's part of the original cover-up job.
Right, I believe those are going to stay.
And I hope you're going to save these because these are very artistic and very 60s.
Yeah, very distinctive.
Well, let's take one more look. There's the old being uncovered. And here's the new, this open space here, this green space, this opened up downtown mall, which is part of the story here in downtown Reading. It's seeing the light of day again after having a roof over it for over 40 years. When you come to Reading, you have to take a break to eat. And Jim, you have brought me to the classic place in Reading. Everybody says when I came to Reading, I had to come to Jack's Grill.
Jack's Grill is the icon. It's been here for 70 years, and everybody knows about it. Everybody's been here.
Uh-huh. And are you Jack?
Well, I'm Don.
Nice to meet you.
Jack's been dead for a lot of years.
But you're carrying on the tradition.
I've been here for 33 years.
Now,
so.
This is just a little place. It's
It
just
is.
a little building here.
It's a small building. We have second and third and almost fourth generation customers here now.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people that travel know about Jack's Grill.
We're inside Jack's, and look at this. The bar is full. Howdy, fellas. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Everybody's standing at the bar. Is this a bar or a restaurant?
It's a little of both. We do a little of everything
So
here.
people come in here to have their cocktails
Meet
and
their
to have
friends
their
and
meal.
have their meal.
And this is the whole restaurant
The place.
right here. Look at this, Cameron. This is the whole place right here. So it's really just one big room.
That's what it is.
You got art on the wall.
We have art and a little history in that art. You'll notice right by the sheriff's ear, there's a bullet hole. It's one of 5 little bullet holes in the painting.
A bullet hole.
5 of them, actually. One of the gentlemen who'd been drinking too much the night before and went to jail came in, and it used to hang on the back wall. He was sitting at the bar, and he pulled out a little .22 caliber revolver and took 5 shots at the sheriff's badge, only missed him by a couple inches.
Now, is that a real
That's a
story,
real
or is
story.
that just one of these legends?
Nope. Actually, about 25 years ago when I redid the wallpaper on the back wall where the pictures used to hang, the bullet holes were still in the plaster and the concrete.
So Reading was a Wild West town, or at least Jack's Grill was Wild West.
All of California Street, actually, because in the late 30s, early 40s, you had thousands of men up here without their families after the Depression, working in the mines, the railroad, the logging, and thousands of men working on Shasta Dam.
Wow.
So California Street was the street in Reading in those days.
You know, this is amazing. This really has an amazing feel to it in here. This is as authentic as it gets, isn't it?
It's nothing polished, nothing. It's just like it used to be. What makes the place are the customers. They're what's give it the atmosphere.
Oh, and here comes, is this his steak? Perfect timing, look at this. Now, what have you got here?
That is a 16-ounce filet mignon.
That's going to be enough for you.
It should be, yes.
Yeah, here it is. Let's take one good look at it right here. That's what Jack's Grill is all about. When you come to Reading, come to Jack's and ask for Don, and he'll serve it up for you.
We'll be here.
Okay, the adventure continues. We're standing here by Turtle Bay Museum, and you just have to take my word for it, because we don't have time to tour the whole museum, that Turtle Bay Museum is one of the primo museums anywhere in the state of California, maybe even in the western United States, right, Mike?
We like to think of it that way, yes.
A lot of stuff here to see. You gotta visit the Turtle Bay Museum, but we are not here to talk about the museum. We are here to talk about this. I was here in 2002, Mike, when this museum opened up. This has since been built, and it is spectacular and getting worldwide acclaim. What are we looking at right here?
Well, you're looking at a suspension bridge that was opened on July 4th, 2004, and it was designed and built by Santiago Calatrava, one of the foremost architects, engineers in the world. He comes from Spain, and he designed the bridge and had it built. He's an architect and engineer.
How did you get him to design a bridge in Redding, California?
Well, fortunately, we have a foundation in our community called the McConnell Foundation. And when I was the city manager, we put up $3 million for the bridge, and McConnell said, we want this bridge to be extra special, be an icon for the whole North State. And they went over to Spain, found Mr. Santiago Calatrava, brought him over here. He loved it. It's one of his favorite projects, and the rest is history.
What is this all about down here?
Well, that's the highest point of the bridge, and it's a sundial, and it's 21 stories high. And if you go behind it, you'll see the time marked on a curb, and it tells the time.
It's called the Sundial Bridge.
Exactly.
Okay, we are walking across the Sundial Bridge, and I gotta tell you, of course this is all new to me, but this looks almost translucent down here. Is this lit at night?
It sure is. We wanted the architect designed it so that people could enjoy it during the day and the evening, and there are 215 lights that light up this bridge in the evening.
That shine up,
and it's absolutely gorgeous. And the architect, when he designed it, he did not want to disturb the environment. So there is some of the best fishing right here on the river, and he wanted to make sure light could get through these panels so that the fish would not be disturbed.
Well, fishing, we have already learned, is a big part of the life, of the history, of the culture of Redding. And look at this, looking right down the Sacramento River. This is spectacular right here, looking over at the mountains. Boy, this is, and I tell you what is so spectacular about this is the juxtaposition between the natural beauty of the river and the trees and the sides of the river. Look at this down here, and then this magnificent man-made structure. So the two really play well off one another, don't they?
Well, and that was the idea of the architect, that we wanted to, or he wanted to make sure that this fit in with the environment. Mm-hmm. There are 2,245 glass panels here.
Wow.
They weigh 200 tons. The highest point of the bridge, which of course is the sundial, is as high as a 21-story building.
They're walking their dog on the Sundial Bridge.
Well, it's great to see you.
You got to be a local.
No, I'm from Oregon House, California.
Well, what are you doing here with your dog? Look, this dog's pulling you across the bridge.
Well, we're going to the coast. We just finished harvest.
So you just stopped by?
Yeah, because we talked about this place, so we came.
Have you ever seen it before?
No.
It really takes your breath away.
It does. It's just amazing.
I've seen pictures, but I had no idea what it was really like.
You know, we flew over it once, but we've never been on it.
Wow. How would you describe this to somebody who's never seen it?
A must-see.
Yeah.
A must-see.
Yeah, it really is. You know, you are absolutely bombarded with visual stimulation here. Look at this. You got the water reflecting off the Sacramento River. Then, goodbye. Nice to meet you all. You've got the cables coming up out of the bridge here. And then look over here. This is the sundial itself, Mike.
It is the sundial itself.
Wow, I got to tell you, this is truly one of the most beautiful places anywhere in California.
Well, coming from you, that means a lot to us.
Well, no, but I mean, really, you hear about it, you see pictures of it, but nothing really prepares you for the majesty and the beauty of the bridge and the setting that the bridge is in.
Well, and that's why we have on average about 365,000 people come and visit this or use it in some capacity. Half of those people are from outside the area and the other half are the locals that enjoy it every day.
This is just, I'm looking right up here, this is spectacular right here, but I gotta tell you, this is the view out here that literally takes your breath away. Just looking down the river, well, just looking out here, walking across this magnificent bridge, and then looking down the river at the beauty of Northern California. It's all here, it's all in Redding, which is one of the most beautiful communities anywhere in California. We have had an absolutely spectacular day. What a great time we had in Redding. What a beautiful community. And if you'd like to go on this adventure again or share it with family or friends, it's available on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727 and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.
California's Communities is supported by the California Redevelopment Association Foundation, a statewide organization made up of cities, counties, nonprofits, and private businesses sharing a common goal of bringing renewed life to neighborhoods and downtowns by expanding local businesses, creating jobs, building affordable housing, restoring buildings, and improving public facilities and infrastructure. Redevelopment, building better communities throughout California.